At this time, we're going to open it up for questions or comments. If you signed your name, Mr. Mayo, you would come in the first one on the list.
Kay Vance.
Okay, Evans, I really don't know what to ask. First of all, who,
Would you stand up?
oh, do I have to?
If you don't mind, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Is the school board running the election, so they will be the ones counting the votes? Who will be counting our votes?
The city of Newton is actually conducting the election.
Okay.
Make sure I have that.
So
The
who
city of Newton is conducting the election.
Right,
So the city clerk, which is, you go down to City Hall, that's where it can need an absentee vote. That's where it can happen at City Hall. Okay? But they'll be conducting the election on that day. They have a election commission.
they do,
They
okay.
do. We've had municipal elections. We had a recent election on the question of the sale of alcohol in restaurants and hotels.
Okay,
And they conducted that election as well within the city.
okay. So basically, it's run like a county election, it's just the
But
city.
through the city.
Okay,
Correct.
okay.
Yes. Next is Ms. Patty.
Good question.
Liggett.
Okay. Can I ask more than one question?
Yes.
Okay. All right, on the gymnasium below, it used to be a band hall. What's being done there?
It's currently being used for storage and maintenance. It'll continue to be used for storage.
So the band hall's elsewhere?
Yes.
Okay, so it won't be replaced?
No.
All right, now, okay, I'm bad at numbers. I used to be great at numbers. I'm bad at numbers now. So if we're putting out bonds of $11 million, if we were to vote that in, do we have to wait until we vote it in to know how much we're going to have to pay back? How much interest we're going to pay and what time, length of time we're going to have this payment?
Jim will have a better answer to this, but until the bonds are sold, we're not going to have a final interest rate to know the exact amount. And Jim will add to that, please.
So is this not like me buying a car and you tell me what my notes are going to be per month, and I never know when it's going to end?
The maximum time period for these bonds is 20 years.
20 years. So this can be over a 20-year period.
Correct.
And in 20 years, we're going to need another bond because we got other problems?
I can't project 20 years out.
I mean-
But the mills can be levied only for the bonds.
All right, if you're doing,
Once the bonds
just
pay
give a
off.
calculation right now. What's the going rate on interest rate now, on a bond now?
All right, and please understand, the rates change
Right.
minute by minute.
But just do a math, if we're paying 10%, what is 10% good or whatever?
No, 10% would be very high.
Very bad.
That'd be high, what would be it?
The rates generally are 3.5 to 5% on the high end.
Okay, let's say,
Really,
let's say
mid
5%. If you do 5% and we sell the bonds and people buy them at 5%, what have we paid? 11 million plus how much more?
And I don't have that number with me.
Can anybody calculate that?
That number might be saying I did do that calculation.
Pardon?
I did do that calculation. $11 million at 4.5% is right at $700,000 a year. The first year, right at almost $500,000 of it goes towards the debt, towards the interest. 200 would go towards, with the calculations that I did. I didn't bring those with me enough.
You did?
Yes.
All right, so-
Does that sound about right?
That's probably about right.
So then it will take us 20 years.
Well, I think you guys said 25 years, which is how I did my math.
20 years.
20.
I'm sorry, I did my math incorrectly, so it would be a little more than that, but at 25 was when I did my math.
I anticipated a lot of questions for tonight, not that one.
All right,
But
so
before the election, we will definitely, we can get that information out.
that will be, we will know that before the election?
You'll know what the estimate is. Nobody
What
knows
the estimate
interest
is.
rate will be.
All right, so we're going to pay $700,000 for 20 years?
It'd be more than that because he said he did it for 25.
He did his calculation wrong by going by 25 years.
That's
But they
what I
were
was told.
20 years.
What is-
That's how he got there, but if he takes 5 years.
We'll do it on 25, and because if it changes to 5%, then that's going to probably equal it out. So that that's more than double. That's more than triple 11 million, right? I mean, how much, somebody's got to have an idea.
Oh, we have plenty of ideas. I'm not going to throw a number out tonight in terms of the total. As far as the total debt service, I don't have that number now.
Can I ask that you give, I don't mind spending money, I don't mind paying my taxes. I just don't want to buy something and 20 years from now I'm still paying on it and I find out that I've paid 10 times the price.
We can provide estimates. The financial advisor is estimating right at 15 mils that it would cost to pay back those notes. So all we can do is just give you estimates based on a 3.8 or 4.4.
So it'd take $15 million.
No, 15 mils of taxation.
I got you. It's kind of like we're buying a pig in a poke. You go and buy your car, and you don't ever know when your debt's going to be ended and how much you're going to pay for that.
I would disagree with that assessment. It is
I'm saying right now.
May I finish?
Yes.
I can finish.
Yes, sir.
Don't
Yes,
ask a
sir.
question, and then I'll let you finish. Please. There will be a known term for the bonds, which will be 20 years. The interest rate, nobody knows until we sell the bonds. Just like when you buy a car.
Can y'all hear what he's saying?
No, I cannot. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Just as when you buy a car, or when you take a loan on your house, there's the principal amount that you borrow, there's the interest rate that you pay on it, and there's the term over which you repay the loan. Same dynamics here. Yes, the amount that you pay back is more than the principal amount of the bonds. That's inherent. That's like with any loan. You know, we can pick interest rates, we can estimate interest rates. The numbers on that sheet that you have, the financial advisor estimated what the tax impact would be. So it's not a pig in the poke. You know, we know the parameters. Well, the main thing we don't know is the interest rate at this point, and that goes up and goes down. They were going up in January, they went down a good bit, now they're coming up some. Nobody knows. And when you ask about, well, what will the exact amount of interest over the life of the bonds be, that will depend on the interest rate, that will depend on how the payments are structured, the payback. There's a lot of variables, so we're not trying to be evasive. It's just we're trying to be upfront and say, here are the parameters within which the bonds will be issued. Here are the variables that nobody will know until we actually sell the bonds. We're happy to present that, all the information that you want.
And the 1.5 mil, does everybody pay that if they own land? If they're a business? If they're a corporation? If they're, who is not going to have to pay that?
All right, that's a great question. The mills are levied on the value of taxable property within the district. The taxable property consists of homes, automobiles, personal property, other real property, all of the above, public utilities. So the county develops the tax roll every year comprised of those different things, and they put a value on what that property is worth. And so there is part of what the county does is, along with the city, develop an assessed value for what is the assessed value of property within the school district. Then it's a mathematical computation of what will the payments be divided by what's the value of a mill that results from that tax base. And the estimate right now is that it will be 15 mills. it would be paid, those bills would be paid by all owners of all taxable property within the district. If that answers your
Yeah,
question.
and that includes like ESCO, or it includes businesses?
Any
So
taxable
when
property.
we're trying to bring in new businesses for jobs, that's something they're going to look at to realize it's high. And what I'm getting at is, I want the school to have as much of that 11 million as they can have, and not, because we're going to pay back more than 11 million.
You would.
So we're
On any bond.
not passing for a bond for 11 million. You're passing a bond for 11 million, you're going to take, then you're going to have to pay 11 million again, and as it goes on, maybe another 11 million. And we have like 1,000 students right now, less than 1,000 students. I want the money, I want the school to have the benefit of the money, not a financial institution that's pulling away from us, underlying our school. Maybe there's a way we can do this gradually and have a fundraiser or have some stuff and pay.
It's not time for corrections, because our kids deserve this and you deserve it tomorrow.
Excuse me, hey, what we will do, we will remain in order and we will remain respectful. This is not for a debate. We will not be debating tonight. This is a community meeting to share information about this bond issue. If you have questions, we have people here that can answer the questions, but we will not go back and forth between one another or even between one another and the people that we have to give you the answers. What we will do is always remain respectful to one another, or we have you escorted out. It's just that
And
simple.
I want to honor Arthur Nelson for his prayers, because that's where we need to lead to for guidance. And if it's something God wants to do, I honor you for that. And that's where we need to go to first, is our prayers and the safety and the goodness of our children. They're our future. Thank you, sir. I didn't mean to be disrespectful to you, if you took it that way.
Yes, sir, Mr. Hill.
Mr. Walker, if you come to the mic, you feel comfortable. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir, I'm Jeff Walker. I emailed you a couple of weeks ago, trying to get a meeting with you, find out more about the school board, because I really don't know anything about it.
I apologize, I have several emails.
I understand. I live out in the county, and I've never been able to vote for any of these people up here. I've never voted for a school board member. I can't vote in the city of Newton, so I can't elect any of the board of aldermen and mayor. So what goes on in Newton is really, I have no concern. This raises my taxes. I do have a concern with that. First thing I want to clear up, what I'd like to clear up with you in private, I'll ask it in public tonight. All school board members, they are residents of Newton Municipal School District and eligible to vote in Newton Municipal School District, correct? You answered affirmative.
Yes, sir. To my knowledge.
Say again.
To my knowledge.
To your knowledge, every school board member lives in Newton Municipal School District. Being a resident of the county, I have a problem with my interest in this election not being observed. My representative for election oversight is Mike Butler. I can't vote for any of y'all if I see it. Mike Butler is in charge of oversight of elections. In my concern, he is my elected representative. In this meeting, or in this referendum, I have no representation. The only representation I have is being able to come up here and vote. I can't even look over your shoulder to watch the tally of the ballots. I don't know how the absentee ballots are being held. I don't know the chain of custody on those ballots. That's something that needs to be explained for everybody here. We'll be able to say this was an honest election. It was carried out with utmost care. There's no shenanigans in it, and it can be paper trail all the way through. That's something that needs to be done.
Sir, I can assure you that that is being done. I can assure you that Mr. Butler has been in contact with
By
the
law,
city clerk.
the state of Mississippi only requires Mr. Butler to give y'all a photo, as I understand it.
That's correct.
That's correct.
But he has been working with the city clerk regarding the absentee ballots and the process to record those the proper way, and how to seal them and everything else.
So chain of custody is in
It's
place.
been preserved, yes, sir.
All right. That's real. I got a bunch of questions written down, but those are the only two that I'm going to ask tonight. Yeah. Thank you for your
Yes, sir,
time.
you've been emailing me. If you have any more, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Ms. Skylar Moncrief?
That's me.
If you would.
How y'all doing? Okay, I'm not good at talking in front of people at all. I'm sorry, it's just me. Some of y'all know me, some of y'all don't. I'm sitting here and I'm listening to a lot of people say a lot of things about this bond. And I ain't gonna lie, a lot of people are worried about their tax dollars, about if they gonna get an end raise, or if money gonna go up, are we gonna lose money, or we gonna gain money? Is it right, is it wrong? And you know, you led us in prayer, you know, before we started this. But you said nobody was gonna come each other sideways, we was gonna be respectful and everything. But everybody kind of on high tension because they don't know where exactly which way they wanna go. But we all want what's best for our children. We want them to succeed in everything, and they right. Elementary is where it starts. If we can't come together as parents, because I understand, I'm looking around, I think I'm the youngest parent up in here, probably. Me and her back there, the only ones that's finally here.
I object to this.
Yeah, we have questions.
We wanted to ask questions.
No, I wasn't
Honestly, I've got to use the bathroom. I'm gonna take a break and
Allow her to finish her statement. Okay, I'm assuming there is a question, but she has a certain amount of
Well,
time.
you assume that she's
You
talking
know
about
what,
minutes.
I'm sorry, this is
sorry.
not funny. I'm sorry for saying it.
Any questions, comments?
What was the question?
Minutes.
That's what, y'all can come out.
You have the right to finish. Any questions, any
These
comments?
questions are.
Yes. She has the right to finish.
Question, it's for question or comments, ladies and gentlemen, not just for
You
questions.
can't let one person come in here and try to run something.
I did not make out the first name, but the last name is Miller,
Yes, Captain.
Tafton Miller.
I found my answer on m.ed12.org.
Excuse me, Mr. Miller, if you don't mind.
He found his answer to this question.
Gotcha.
I come up.
Thank you. The name's Captain Miller. I actually found a whole lot of information on the ESSER funds, things that weren't being said. So just in case, if you all do want to catch it, it's on Mississippi Government of Education, mdk12.org.
Thank you, Mr. Angie Wesley?
Good afternoon, everyone. And I do, Mr. Nelson, have a comment and a question. Okay. I will start with my question, and it'll probably end up with the comments. What is the price of a child's education? What is the price of a child's education? Now, that's a question. And nobody has to answer out loud, you know, but think about that. Think about that. And I'm going to agree with Ms. Moncrief, what she was saying, you know, we're so busy acting as adults, we're not thinking about the children. We're not thinking about the children. And I'm hoping that that's what this is really about, the children. And she said, and Dr. Nixon, I'm so glad that you had the vision for this. I do want to tell you that. I'm the center manager of Crossroads Head Start under Friends of Children of Mississippi. And she said that it begins here, but I'm going to say it begins where I am, where I start with children. I start with children at 6 weeks old. 6 weeks up until they turn 4 to come to this great school. And it's great looking just the way it is now to me. My children has graduated from here. I have grandchildren in the district. I don't have anyone at the elementary school. But we have to start somewhere. Why not start here? She invited everyone to tour the campus. Please go and tour this campus. Please go and tour this campus. Just what these gentlemen was trying to explain to us, I understand. I've heard them speak on numerous occasions, and I love what they say. I love what he shows, what he's trying to do. Let's just think about the children. And in the, you know, we're thinking about our tax money, and I had someone to ask me the question, if I live in the city of Newton, is it fair that more of my tax money is supporting the county instead of the city? Now, that was a question that was proposed to me, and I'm just asking it again. No one has to answer, but think about it. Just think about it. Now, you know, we all said, we sat here and prayed together, and I'm assuming we all said amen and meant that. I'm assuming we are. Let's think about that now. Let's think about that. Everybody, let's think about that. Who's coming first? Do I really want to stand here and say everybody's taxes should go up? No. I'm going to tell you no. But am I going to say I'm willing to go up that 100 yards because these children deserve better than what they have now? I'm going to go 200 yards. It's about the children, y'all. Come on. Come on. It's all about getting these children educated. We are all concerned about what's going on in our city right now. We are. This is going to be where it starts with me, with my 6-week-olds that I get every day, that I'm going to share with Ms. McKean, who's the principal here, with Dr. Nixon, who's the superintendent here. It starts there. Children are proud of where they go. Do you understand? If they come into a beautiful school, oh, they're going to be so proud. They're going to try to make me happy, you happy. Everybody is going to be happy. Take my word for it. It'll work. If we give these children somewhere that they can be proud of, you'll see it. You'll see the ending. They're proud right now, but they deserve, again, so much more.
Nikki Jones.
Go to the next one.
Okay. Bill McClendon.
My question's been answered.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. McClendon. Salvador May.
They've already asked my question.
All right. Mr. Mike Butler.
Well, first of all, of course, as most of you know, I don't live in this district, so it's not necessarily a direct impact on me, maybe indirectly. But I just want to let you know, of course, we're not contracted to conduct the election, nor the election commissioners. It's conducted by the city of Newton. Charlene has been asking several questions about the absentee process. Of course, I have zero authority to be able to be involved in this process. Now, if we were contracted out to do it, 100% involved, be all into it. But myself, I have zero authority. I know a lot of people say, hey, why don't you go down there? Why don't you do this? Even if I would love to, but I have zero authority to do that, guys. So not saying, like I said, Charlene has been asking a lot of questions. I think she'll continue asking questions. I'm not going to be involved in that process. Through our elections, we have, through our elections, I can't speak on bond elections. We have observers, we have poll watchers, we have people that can observe the process, quietly sitting to the side, observing from the distance.
You can't be intrusive, can't be invasive, can't be disrupting the election process. Through our election process, that is available. So if I can do anything, if y'all have any questions, like I said, Charlie and I have been knowing each other since we worked at Sunflower years ago. Most of you remember that. And she has been asking a lot of questions, guys. And that's just kind of where I can put that. But however, like I said, election night, I would have no authority the way it is right now to be down here.
Mr. Butler, if we had a question as to contracting you out, how much would it cost to contract the county out in order to, and is it too late?
Of course, at this point, you guys, are in the election process, because absentee voting has started. If you guys, let's check the legalities of it. If I could be involved in kind of a little bit of an oversight or being there through the process, I wouldn't, if we can legally do that, I wouldn't be objected to that. And I think most people would be receptive. I think most everybody in here, wherever you stand on this issue, for or against, I think every one of you know me well enough to trust me enough to do the right thing. I guess somebody don't. But I think most of you do. And that would be, I think a lot of you guys know me, know how I want to treat everybody. So that would be, discussion we can have at another time. Yeah, if you like to. Okay, but however, I think, the city of Newton, they'll be the one in charge of it. So I would have a little, limited authority, but we could discuss that.
Regardless of whether we're for it or against it, we want for everybody to feel secure that this election is free and fair to everyone. So we would do everything that, I can only speak for myself, but I would do everything that, again, to make sure that everybody feels as though this election is fair.
And I think most of you know that I've been making several Facebook posts recently. And the post I've been making hasn't been for or against. I think the ones you've seen is not going to be for or against, but we need to make sure everybody knows that they have the right to be able to vote in this election, and who does have the right to vote in it. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Butler, and I'm going to use that as just a platform to mention something I should have mentioned earlier. But before I do that, to me, this is refreshing. And I've told you, Gary and I have worked with school districts all over the state. And whether you're for the bond issue or against the bond issue, you have to thank God you live in this country. And I mean that very sincerely. And I mentioned to you that state law governs how school districts borrow money. And I should have mentioned this. The state law says that the school district, school board, calls the election, and then to the extent practicable, the election commission conducts the election in the same manner as other city/county elections. So by state statute, it's the election commission that conducts the election. And they are to do that to the extent practicable, like all other elections, including absentee ballots, and counting ballots, and chains of custody, and all of that. There is an Attorney General opinion that said for a municipal school district, it's the municipal bond, it's the municipal election commission that conducts the election. And so that's, yes, sir.
I kind of contradict with that one now, because it does encompass a lot of the county. And by the opinion that I read, either one have been chosen to conduct the election. This county election commissioners or the city election commissioners, because it does encompass a lot of the county.
I think that would be more appropriate if the city election commission contracted with the county election commission. I know that is done. I don't know that the school district could contract with the county election commission. I mean, that is a very fair point, and we've looked at that in other situations, and that's why we've obtained the AG opinion. I agree with you. We're in the process. now. But I appreciate your comments and wish you being here, frankly.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Mr. William Bounds?
Thank you. First off, I want to know who's on the board. I don't have a name, I don't have an address, I don't have anything. School board. Y'all mind giving me a name, address, or whatever?
On school board.
School board, yeah, on school board, that's what we're voting. I mean, do you mind giving me your name and address? I mean,
My name is right here. My name is Arthur Nelson Jr. I live at 209 Main Street. You go down Belmont right here, take a left on the corner. That's where I'm at, on the first house on the right.
okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Everett. I stay right off Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. You pass by my street when you're going down towards the Southern Pines. That's where I stay.
Yes, ma'am, okay, thank you.
James Peters, and it's 607 East Church Street, right by Palace.
Okay, okay, yes, ma'am.
I'm the school board clerk. My name is Phyllis Marie Brantley. I'm the school board clerk. I live right next door, 5 houses down, 104 West Taylor Street.
Okay, well, I hadn't been in the system for over 50 years. I wasn't being smart at it, I'm sorry. I mean, I owned a garage down here by the hospital for many years.
And I got my car fixed at your garage many times.
I know that. I was just trying to figure out who was on board, because really, I hadn't been involved in it for years, you know what I mean? And, you know, I just don't really, I mean, no, school looks good. You know, I eat food right here myself. I'm 64 years old. 64 years old.
Come when it rains.
Ma'am?
Come when it rains. Come to you.
Let me remain in water. Let me remain in water.
I mean, I don't know anything about it, ma'am. All I'm saying is I feel like, to me, this is sort of like taxation without representation. Because we don't have a chance. That's just my comment.
Mr. Raymond Bowell?
Can't hear you.
Put it to your mouth, Ray.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. That's
Good evening. I have a few questions. I hope y'all don't cut me off too soon. Can y'all hear this?
Now we can get the front of
I'll follow up to Mr. Bounds' question, I think. I'm a landowner now in the county, in the district, and as Mike pointed out, there are a lot of landowners. Was there any consideration given to the landowners to get them notice of these proceedings? Is that required, Brandon?
As far as this meeting tonight,
The meeting and the election?
well, the election's been advertised in the paper, which is what we're legally required to do. As far as this was placed on Facebook, I think it was spread out pretty good with different individuals on Facebook sharing it and everything that this meeting was happening tonight. But there's no requirement for an actual public hearing on the bond issue.
I know it's not a hearing, but I'm just asking you if consideration given to the landowners. Next question about the voting itself. Who is qualified to vote? Is it the registered voters in the county? Is only those that are in the county?
Only the qualified voters for this election, and everyone can hear me, are the individuals who live in the school district. Okay, so if someone lives in Union, they can't vote in this election. Only those that live within the parameters of the school district, which does include the city of Newton and property outside the city of Newton, as everyone knows. But it's only those individuals that live in that area are the ones that can vote in this election.
Okay, how do you determine who the voters are? Are there a voter roll?
There is a voter roll
For the district?
for the district. It's been created by Mr. Butler's office.
It's available in my office.
It's available in your office, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Could we get a copy of it whenever we're going to ask you for it?
Yes, sir.
And how often is that updated?
It's updated daily when people, well, this particular election, there will be nobody else will be added because it passed the deadline for people ready to vote.
Okay. Will the city election commission, will they have this available to determine as the voters come in?
At this point, they
Whether or
have,
not they're qualified to vote? And if so, who has voted and who has not voted? Just to keep up with it. Is that what I understand? Yes?
Yes.
they did receive that list filed. They did request that list filed.
Mr. Bailey, I haven't heard any cost projections. What is the, I guess just a rough estimate is what the cost of the elementary school would be?
Of each project?
Yes, sir.
I don't have it handy. It was, the elementary school was right at 7 million, 7.5 million, and the gym was the difference of that. But that's plus or minus. I'd have to verify that. I can, and we put that on the website.
So the gym itself would only be about 3.5
Plus or minus.
plus or minus. Okay. Now for the board, I admit I haven't been in pilot school. Is that what it's still called?
Yes,
I understand that's a middle school.
Yes, sir. It's still called pilot.
I passed by it and I regret that I haven't, or I can't just walk into a school anymore, I realize that. But what is the state of that? It doesn't look real well from the outside. Is there any consideration or needs for that school at this time? Anyone that wants to address that? Yes, ma'am.
Right now at Pilot, we're replacing the heating and cooling systems, we're replacing the windows. We're also doing some renovations to our bathrooms. And so Pilot will also receive renovations and updates throughout the building as well. We just completed last summer a roofing project. That was not with ESSER funds, that was district project. And so the roof has been completed. HVAC is in the process. Lighting fixtures have been changed. Bathrooms are in the process of being updated. So the Pilot will also receive some additions.
So pilot school is included in this 7.5 million as regards to elementary school?
There's no money going to Pilot in the budget.
Bond did not cover pilot.
That was done with ESSER money.
Bond issue does not cover Pilot. We're using COVID relief money for Pilot. That's what we're using for Pilot.
Would you just give me a brief as to how you're able to use COVID funds on the school? You said it earlier, but I'd like us to brief.
It's outlined. It's outlined.
Just tell us if you will. How are you able to use COVID funds?
We have to follow federal regulations, and federal regulations indicate that we can use federal funds, the COVID funds, for window projects, for HVAC, to replace lighting and things like that. So it's with the COVID funds.
And air conditioning and all the other things you use? Okay. So pilot is taken care of, is that what I am to understand? So there's not going to be something comes up in the next few years as pilot needs renovation, as far as you know.
We don't try to realize that it is all in the building as well, right?
It is very old by appearances. It was mentioned somewhere, I forgot who mentioned it, in fact, what community activities are are outside of school are undertaken at the gymnasium?
With the city, we have a partnership with the city of Newton to, with the youth basketball, between the months of, don't quote me on this, between October and January, where the kids do play. We partner with the city of Newton, Parks and Recreation Department to do basketball, youth basketball for all grades up to the 7th grade.
Okay, that's the only outside activities that you're aware of?
It's the only one I'm aware of.
It doesn't just stay open like on Saturdays and Sundays for any church group or anything else wants to come in there and
No, sir.
do anything?
Nothing else is school related.
I'll ask the board, did y'all hire Mr. Young's firm? Did y'all hire Mr. Young's firm? Can you tell me what the fee for that will be?
So right offhand, I cannot. Quite sure, Mr. Young.
Mr. Young, what is your fee going to be for this?
It's a percentage of the issue that will be discussed and negotiated with the.
It'll be a percentage of the bond issue?
Be well less than 1%.
Yeah. It'll be a large amount, won't it?
Less than 1%.
1% of $11 million?
Less than.
Less than 1%?
Substantially less.
What's 1% of?
Well, Mr. Mayo, what's your fee going to be?
A very low, Mr. Malley.
Do you get any percentage of less than 1%?
If I do, I'll be 1%.
You haven't given any thought to that?
No, sir, I've not.
You're not paid directly by the hour for whatever you do towards this project?
No, sir, I haven't.
You just get a percentage of whatever comes in?
At the end of the day, Mr. Malley, my fee will be negotiated with the district, and I will be more than fair with the district, as I always have been.
Has any consideration been given to the fact that the city of Newton, by all appearances, is a dying city? I wouldn't even call it a city, a dying town. And what's going to happen if it continues on the path it is, by appearances, with this bond, being able to pay this back? Has any consideration been given to that?
Mr. Bauer, I'll have to disagree with you when it comes to the city of Newton. The people in the city of Newton are alive and very well, and I feel like they plan on surviving. As well as our children. Our children are our future, and we plan on investing in our children, whatever it takes in order to make them successful and to make this community successful.
I'm not looking to have a debate with you, but I was president in 1968 and left here in the mid-70s. And stayed in Brookhaven, Lincoln County, Mississippi for 40 years and came back in 2015. And Newton, the city of Newton, is an entirely different place. There are hardly any businesses downtown. Lazy Boys, I understand, is now closed. There's not a hospital. So the city is declining. What I'm talking about is a tax base. I appreciate and I hope that all the citizens of Newton are willing, and I hope they prosper. But have y'all given any consideration for what happens if this bond is defaulted? Can you answer that, Mr. Young?
I think we can't do the what ifs. What if? Now, the bonds are general obligations of the district secured by the full faith and credit of the district. Very unlikely to be a default, but I can't get into the what ifs with you. That's the security for the bonds. The bonds will be rated, reviewed by a rating agency, national rating agency, may or may not have bond insurance. for the bonds. So there are a lot of variables that could come into play.
I think Mr. Scott, questions answered.
Sir?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Powell.
Mr. Antonio Moore?
Good evening, everybody. What do you see when you come to this school? Yes, we have brilliant children. We have brilliant staff. But we have to represent our school. Our community has to invest in the community. As we go out and solicit for business to come to our community, if we don't invest in ourselves, why would outsiders want to come here and put their business in? All right, for the last few weeks, I've been meeting with different businesses about coming to Newton. Since the beginning of the year, we've been talking to people about putting businesses in the old hospital. So this is a great time to show that, hey, we still had that pride of Newton, that tiger pride that when we was here in our heyday, because we still alive and well, and we're gonna thrive. I'm not worried about no nose.
What was the question?
I don't have a question. It's open for comments and questions. I have a comment. I can talk to you. It's okay. Again, I'm not worried about no nose, because my God said yes. It's time for us to invest in ourselves. It's time for us to invest in one another. It's time for us to rebuild Newton. My man said Newton is dying. Well, when you go down to the valley, you come back up the mountain, you gotta come back up, right? We coming back up, baby. That's what we gonna do. One love, one family, one city, Newton.
Mr. McCall.
Quick question, I don't know the numbers, and maybe you may know. Of the percentage of the taxpayers in Newton, of that percentage, because she mentioned about we pay more money to the county. Do you have an idea about the percentage of that money that our taxpayer dollars go to the county? Percentage.
I don't.
We pay more for the county than we do in our city, right? Yes, okay. So when they built that school up there and all that bond money used, guess what? We supported that. 100%. All right. Not only that, the young lady was talking about the amount of money with all the interest, and she's right, it is going to be a lot of interest. But guess what? I'm not going to be paying that much money on all that interest. 1,500 taxable houses in the state, in the city of Newton. 1,500. So you got to divide that by 1,500 taxable houses plus the businesses. So it's not like I'm paying that much for how big this $11 billion bond is going to be, even with the interest. If you do the numbers right, just a number off the top of my head, even at a $200,000 house, I know in the paper it said $100,000. $200,000 house, over 20 years you pay $6,000 plus interest. Over 20 years. I did say that, plus interest, clearly said that. But that's over a 20-year period. And you telling me my children, I don't even have children in here. Matter of fact, my grandchildren don't even go to this school. But at the end of the day, I live here. I'm going to support it to the end, and I'm going to show y'all how to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. I promise you we'll make it happen.
Those are all the comments that we have. That's the last person that signed up for comment. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming on tonight. We will have another community meeting. It will be scheduled March the 21st. It will be held at the high school gym. At this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Cola Shelby if she would come up. She has some information that she would like to share before we adjourn. And then again, please, sir, please, madam, visit the classrooms and tour the school.
What time? She didn't say the time.
I promise you, I'm going to be brief. I know a lot of you all came out for the bond community questions and concerns. Also, I have some important information for your students, for our scholars. I just want to let you all know that our upcoming events that's coming up, we have testing. I have different, and I promise you, I'm making it short. We have some flyers here. I want to let you all know that we have state testing coming up. The first state assessment we have is 3rd grade. And parents, what I want you to make sure that's understood, no matter what your child's grades are in that classroom, if your child does not pass that 3rd grade assessment, your child does not go on to 4th grade. So I just want to make that understood and known that the third, if you have we have anybody in here have a 3rd grade child. So if you do, just make sure, you know, Ms. McCune, she's going to send out some additional information for you all to use with your 3rd grade. But I just want to make sure that known, because that question came up for your 3rd graders. Also, if you have a child in 3 through 8, and then if you have a student at the high school who's taking U.S. history, biology, algebra 1, no, I'm missing one, English 2. For those high school students, they have to pass that state assessment in order to graduate. No matter what they have in the class, they must pass that state assessment. So if you have students that's taking that class this year, they will also be taking the state assessment. They need to pass that state assessment. I have calendars over here. So before you all leave, please pick up, we have several flyers, several information for the parents. But one is the testing schedule. So you all will have the dates of when we will be testing. I'm just going to hold it up just to show you. I know you can't read the words from here, but before you leave, this is an overall testing schedule for our district. So make sure you receive one of those from the table here about when testing is going to be. And one other announcement I have, if you want to know what level your child scored, this has every grade in the district from 3 through 8 in those high school students. If you want to know what performance level your child is, it is on this sheet. So please make sure you get this flyer also, because for example, it's by grade, by subject, it has the scoring range, and that will let you know if your child is a level 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So I encourage you parents to pick up one. When you go home tonight or tomorrow, ask your child, even when they took the benchmark, what's your score? When you look at this score, you look at this sheet, and then you will know as of right now what level your child is based on the benchmark assessment. So if you have any questions, just contact myself dealing with testing or any of the principals at the school. We have some upcoming events. I know at the high school tomorrow, they will be having at 1 p.m. Performance of the Arts Program Encore. That'll be tomorrow at the high school. We will have that program at 1 p.m. Elementary. If you have a pre-K or kindergarten, we have registration. We have flyers on the table for our dates for our registration. Also on these flyers, let you know what documents we need when you get ready to register your kids for pre-K and K. Now the other registration, we'll send out some more information coming soon, but the first registration we will have is pre-K and K. Any other announcement from our principals? Any other announcement? And if you have any questions again, just please contact me dealing with testing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shelby. Our district also, we're in the process of completing an application for the 21st Century Grant. And parents, you will be receiving a survey. I'm asking you your input on this grant. This grant will concentrate on science, technology, the arts, mathematics, as well as English. So when you receive this survey, parents, please complete it so you can assist us in providing these opportunities for our scholars. At this time, we'll turn it back into the hands of the board president.
Thank you, Dr. Neeson. At this time, we need a motion for adjournment. A motion.
Second.
The motion, probably second, that we adjourn this meeting. All in favor, let it be by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, motion carries. Meeting is now adjourned.